Welcome, everybody. This is James Roberts, the Truth Teller. You're listening to Newscaller Radio and the Truth Teller Show. I have an exclusive, and I tell you exclusive because no one else has this person on the line. I have Miss Letitia Pepper on the show, who was placed under arrest last week for clapping at the Riverside City Council meeting. Miss Pepper, how are you?
Fine. Thank you very much for asking.
Okay. Well, the other day I put up a video and I pretty much broke down and provided commentary as to your arrest. I was pretty outraged personally as to the conduct of the mayor. I had a spirited debate with a supporter of the mayor and pretty much that the mayor's actions were solid. First of all, how did the PD treat you once they had you outside the council chambers?
Well, that's a difficult question to answer because while I was in the city council chambers, I actually had a chance to talk to the police officers, first the younger guy who then helped the guy come and talk to me. And I had a very nice conversation with him and told him that whatever he did, that they should not arrest me, and that if the mayor wanted me arrested, they better make sure that the mayor signed a citizen's complaint form, so he's the one responsible for the arrest.
Absolutely.
And I believe that's what they did, because I told the police officer, I said, think about it. Have you seen me disrupt this meeting? You know, you disrupt the meeting by interrupting it, by having a demonstration, by applauding when someone's trying to speak, by doing anything that prevents a meeting from going forward. And I said, you haven't seen me do that, have you? And he could not say that he had. But what he said to me was, well, you're going to disrupt this meeting if you keep talking. And I said, why? I'm only talking during the breaks, when people are done talking before anyone talks again. And he said, because they're going to adjourn the meeting, and that will disrupt the meeting. I go, yes, they will disrupt the meeting by adjourning it because they can't make me stop clapping legally. So they will disrupt the meeting themselves.
Now, let me cut
so if that's what they want to do, let them do it.
Now, let me ask you this, Ms. Pepper, because you touched base on an interesting point. But why were the officers saying you are going to be placed under arrest when it's clearly there's so many more tens of people in there that were clapping, maybe even 20, 30 people who were clapping? So why didn't they ever kind of allude that they were going to arrest more than just one person? Do you have any idea?
Oh, I do, because they took another break earlier in the evening.
Okay.
Because at the beginning of the meeting, some really good speakers talked about the fact that the city was cutting $10,000 out of the budget, which destroyed the whole evening swim program for all the kids in Riverside, while, in contrast, the mayor was going to spend $7,000 to go to New York to return an award. So these two women, they didn't talk about the $7,000, but they talked about the $10,000, and they were great. So when the first one spoke, I applauded, my neighbors all applauded, we were all in favor, put that money back. Well, after that first person spoke and we all applauded, the mayor ordered everybody not to clap. And that's not legal, because we did not disrupt the meeting, and people have these constitutional rights to express their opinion at a public meeting by clapping or, oh, horrible, booing.
No,
so everybody's applauding. Yeah, if you can clap, you can boo. It has to be content neutral. So if you have a right to express approval, you can express disapproval.
Right.
It's the law. It's the First Amendment, right?
Absolutely. Now,
so,
for the listening audience, you are an attorney, correct?
Yeah, I've been an attorney since 1982.
Right.
Old.
Right. So you have a general knowledge of the law. Now, is this kind of like a pet peeve of the mayor, or is he just on a power struggle right now? What do you think his reasoning is for this?
Well, here, let me tell you, this has been going on for a while. I wanted to finish saying that what happened was, after that first speaker, he ordered everybody not to applaud, and from the back of the room, I called out, I said, you can't do that. You can't order people not to applaud. Because legally he can't. So then when the next speaker spoke, I'm the only person who applauded because everybody was afraid. Everybody's afraid because last year a woman was arrested by the police because she went a few seconds over the 3 minutes.
Right.
So people are afraid of these guys. And see, this has been going on for a while. They have done, it would take a while to tell you all the things they've done to try and script public meetings so that there's less of the meaningful stuff that people can talk about, and people have a limited amount of time. And this started under Mayor Leverage, who is still a professor at UCR, like a government or political kind of professor, and he's a very clever and, in my opinion, evil guy, because he and the city attorney started setting this up so that there was less going on in terms of people in the public who can't get to the meetings being able to see on TV or hear on these videos the stuff that's happening. And one of the things they've done is they've tried to limit people being able to express approval or disapproval. So as you noted at the beginning of the meeting, they love it when people applaud their employees who applaud them. But once you get to the public comment period, they don't want people applauding members of the public who take the time to come down and say, you know what, we have a problem with what you're doing. We don't like this or we don't like that. And then they don't want people in the audience to applaud. They don't want people at home to think, you know what, gee, maybe this is a problem if a bunch of people are coming down to complain and they're still not doing anything. And see, that's exactly what happened at this meeting. Probably 20 to 30 people from my neighborhood came down for the second week in a row to complain about the city's lack of helping us. This has been a problem in all the time I've lived in my house. I've lived in the same house for like 30 years. We've had the same problems, and they keep promising they're going to help us. And what they do is, oh, we're going to partner with UCR. And then they put together working groups they don't include us in. And they do all this stuff to make it look like they're doing something, and they're not. So people got fed up, and they came down. And what was going to happen is, when people talk, everybody in the audience was going to be applauding them to show that, in fact, we're right when we say the city isn't doing anything. And that's why they targeted me, because I told people, look, that's not legal, and I kept applauding.
Right.
So they targeted me, but, in fact, during the meeting, other people applauded. People applauded a World War II vet. The mayor didn't tell people, I told you not to applaud, I'm going to shut this meeting down because you applauded a World War II vet. And people applauded me when I used my 3 minutes to speak, and at the end, said again, they can't tell you not to applaud. That's not legal, and you might as well go ahead and applaud because they can't arrest us all. And a lot of people applauded very loudly, and the mayor didn't say anything.
All right, and
nothing.
Ms. Pepper, have you had prior run-ins with the mayor?
Oh, yeah. In fact, back in the 1990s, I ran against Ron Lovers because he was lying. That was when the city had been trying to close the public pools, and he actually had lied. And they had, there were articles about the pools were going to collapse, and it was all a big lie. And I, with a group of people, we had a friend to sue the city to get the public records, and we showed they lied, and we stopped them from closing a couple of the public pools. So I ran for mayor back then, not because I really wanted to be the mayor of Riverside, and I certainly didn't have the kind of money or backing from people in order to think I might win. But I actually got 18% of the vote in a field of 4 and spent a bunch less money than anybody. But the reason I ran was because I could go to public meetings and public forums, and nobody could tell me to be quiet. I could speak. If the mayor was allowed to speak, I could speak.
Right. Now,
and by doing that, a lot more people learned about what they were doing to the pools, and that's the way. You have to get the public to understand what's going on, and when they understand what's going on, the public tends to be on the side of the people who are trying to do things for the public's benefit, as opposed to the city officials who are trying to close down public programs and save them money to pay for more public employees, like redevelopment employees.
Right. Now, Ms. Pepper, to kind of backtrack a little bit because we're running short on time, and I really appreciate you coming on the show. I personally hope they drop the charges, but no matter which way they...
Let me interrupt you. There are no charges. Being cited by the police is not a charge, and I have told people the DA is not going to charge me, just like he did not charge Karen Love, because it was all on video. Anybody in the world can see that legally what I did is not a violation of Penal Code 403.
Okay.
It's not.
Well,
They're not going to charge me.
That's
They're
good.
not going to charge me.
That's good to know. Now, do you plan on going punitive against the mayor?
Like, what do you mean?
Punitive damages, civilly, depending on how this goes.
Suing him civilly?
Yeah.
Well, government officials, one of the problems is that government officials, under the law, have a lot of immunity from the bad things they do. You can sue the city of Riverside, but the mayor himself is going to think it's going to be, very unlikely that you have to set things up to sue somebody. But I'll tell you, the real person who's the problem here is not the mayor. The real problem in the city of Riverside is Ray Fairmouth, the city attorney. He gives them bad legal advice that is no way true. Like for our neighborhood problems, he's told people that the city cannot legally adopt a moratorium on issuing permits that let people turn a single-family home into a boarding house. That's not true. moratoriums are illegal and the city could do one, but he doesn't want them to until he tells them, oh no, a moratorium is illegal. And I know it's the city attorney who went ahead and told Rusty Bailey, yes, sign that 6 weeks like he violated the penal code. No, I didn't.
Right.
So the real problem, I feel sorry for Rusty Bailey because he has no idea that the legal advice is so rough.
Right. Well, I was debating your incident with a supporter of the mayor, and kind of like a side note, I was already hearing recall. Do you potentially think he could be recalled as a result of his behavior?
No, it's very difficult to recall people. Most recalls aren't successful. I think what is much more likely to happen, if anything comes of this, is that he'll be a one-term mayor.
Fair enough. Okay. Well, thank you, Ms. Pepper. And it was really nice for you to come on the show and give your side of the story. Do you have a website? Are you a political activist as well in your community?
I'm a political activist, but I don't have a website, but there is. Anybody interested in what's going on in the city of Riverside might want to check out a website called 30 Miles of Corruption.
Very good.
Isn't that a great title?
Absolutely. I actually linked to some of their pieces. Well, once again, Ms. Pepper, I really appreciate it, and thank you for coming on the show.